What's this? Consent. Well, I guess Bruce is going to read that bad boy.
Yeah. Somebody will read it.
Chandra, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. Are you good to come for the breakfast or the lunch meeting on Thursday?
Yeah.
The non-legislative?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just trying to make sure.
Should be.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to Ozark City Hall. We're glad you're here for the Board of Aldermen meeting and engaging with your elected officials. Listening to perspectives of city residents, business owners, and other community members helps our elected leaders make more informed decisions. Before the meeting begins, let's review our rules of order. These ensure the meeting is orderly and efficient while allowing everyone who would like to speak an opportunity to do so. There are two opportunities for you to speak: during the agenda's scheduled visitor and guest portion of the meeting and during public discussion of new bills and resolutions. During the agenda's scheduled visitor and guest portion, anyone who signed up at the city clerk's office before 5 p.m. the Wednesday before the meeting can speak to aldermen about the topic they specified. Now, in the public discussion of new bills and resolutions, that allows you to give comments for aldermen to consider before they make a decision. The consent agenda bills are not open to comment. If you want to speak about an item on the consent agenda, you must sign up by noon the Friday before the meeting. You can do that by contacting the city clerk in writing or fill out a card in the council chambers before the meeting starts. Write down the specific bill and give the card to the city clerk before the consent agenda is set. That bill will then go to a first reading, which is open to public discussion, and anyone may speak about it. Anytime anyone is speaking, the following rules apply. First, only one person should speak at a time. Please be respectful of the person speaking and hold your comments until it's your turn. Second, anyone speaking must do so from the podium and speak into the microphone. Third, you must first provide your name and address in writing to the city clerk before beginning your comments. These forms are provided near the entrance. You also must state your name and address to the Board of Aldermen using the podium microphone. Fourth, all comments should be addressed to the mayor and aldermen. Finally, all speakers have 5 minutes to make their comments. The mayor or alderman may have additional questions for speakers after their 5-minute time limit. Occasionally, the board will invite someone to make a presentation at the meeting. This is only to give information to the board about a specific topic. These presenters will have no time limit on giving their information. This meeting will be live streamed and recorded with video and audio unless there are technical difficulties. The use of cell phones or other devices is discouraged during the meeting. Please silence your phones right now. Again, thank you for being here and engaging with the City of Ozark. The meeting will begin shortly.
Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Aiken.
Here.
Alderman Galloway.
Here.
Alderman Hutchinson.
Here.
Alderman Metcalf.
Here.
Alderman Snyder.
Here.
We have 5 aldermen present. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you very much. Our first item is approval of our minutes from March the 2nd, 2026, which is a regular session. Are there any questions or anything regarding these minutes? Okay, I'm not hearing or seeing anything.
I move that we approve the March 2nd regular session minutes as written.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of voting on the motion to approve March 2nd, 2026 regular session minutes, do so by show of hands or voice. Okay, thank you. I see you all. Okay, there's no ceremonial matters tonight, but we do have 3 scheduled visitors and guests tonight. We're going to begin first with Buddy Huggins, who's going to be zooming in tonight. We'll begin with him. Yes, sir. We can see you. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to try to play it one more time just in case it works. So I'm going to cut my volume up real loud so you can hear it.
Is it playing right now? Because we're not hearing anything on this end, sir.
Okay, if it's not playing, then hold on. If you couldn't hear it, let me do this. This is going to, yeah, I'm going to try to read it. I sent it to Maria in full text form. So after the meeting, if y'all want to actually read it, feel free to pass it around, share it around. But it starts off by saying, "Good evening, board members and fellow residents. My name is Buddy Huggins. I'm a YouTuber. I make YouTube videos. And I want to talk about flock cameras. Now let's talk about the good side of flock cameras. A recent Amber Alert allowed the local citizens to give information real time back to the police and the highway patrol, and they were able to get the child unharmed and take the male in custody. However, that's a win. But however, I got to bring in the part that it's still violating a certain amount of our rights by constantly 24 hours a day surveilling us. And if I look at this right and say it right, you'll understand it. But if I don't, then please read what I've sent in through Maria, your communications person. Being a person with learning disabilities, it's real hard for me to see the print and kind of hold on to it and make it stay where I can read it. But there's incidences where flock is being used in wrong situations. Over 500 times for one individual is kind of outrageous, but that's what's happening across the country. Different officers are using it for different purposes that don't have anything to do with finding children. Now, these children need to be found. There's over 800,000 children go missing. So if they could target that flock camera more into the characteristics of searching for these 800,000 children, I want to make sure I say that number. That is such a large number. It's hard to fathom, but evidently flock cameras has a different type of agenda. And if people like me don't bring it to the forefront and try to explain that they should target those cameras only for criminal investigations and not to read every license plate like they're doing. Now, I'm not saying do away with all flock cameras. No, what I'm saying is let's work together so we can find the places to put them on the highway and where they're needed for that type of procedure to track criminals. But when it's used to track the citizens, evidence shows, even in this Iran war, that they're not flock cameras, but they're similar to flock cameras, and they're being used by the military, both sides. And that's an instrument that can be used against us in a time of tragedy. Now, I'm not going to say that we're going into a tragedy, but we're almost getting able to see that the world has changed. And we have to change with the times also. That's why the police department and the sheriff's department need to understand the value of flock cameras for camera alerts and for criminal investigations. But to check Buddy Huggins' license plate every time he goes to Burger King to get some chocolate chip cookies, that's not doing us any good. So I want to leave it there and let you know that I'm wanting to work with everybody.
Okay, well, thank you, sir. Is that your final comment? Since it's Zoom, I want to make sure. Is that your final comment, sir?
Yes, and let me emphasize the fact that it help that child, find that child. That's what we should gear it to do all across the country. 800,000 children go missing annually in America.
Okay, I agree with you. Thank you for your time, sir. Thank you now. Okay. We move on now. Our next scheduled speaker is the Chris Russell, CEO, President of the Ozark Chamber of Commerce.
Good evening, guys. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to get back up here and kind of give you some fun updates. Lots of energy for the Ozark Chamber moving into 2026. I did want to start that at the last meeting. Maria was there, Alderman Galloway, and the mayor as well. Heard the discussion very well. Good discussion by all the board members and the presentation. But the board has voted unanimously to support the issue that's coming up on the ballot on April the 7th. We believe that the Home Rule Charter is a very good thing for the community of Ozark. And we also believe that it opens up more communication opportunities, more transparency. It gives a bigger voice back to the people. I have actually served on a Home Rule Charter Commission and helped construct the Home Rule Charter. I know the value of it. I see how it has impacted some of our local communities and firsthand. And we at the Ozark Chamber fully support this, and we hope that it passes and we can get a good charter put in place that's going to help the community of Ozark move forward for the coming years. So just wanted to give you an update on that. And then we're also blocking some time at our next chamber luncheon to have a discussion about that. Okay, let's go to Showcase Ozark. That's coming up on April the 25th. We'll start really promoting this heavily through our social media platforms. Right now, there's another community expo that's being marketed on the other side of the county. Once they get finished with Thursday this weekend, and that'll open us up to also market ours, which will be about right at a month after that. We've got the city's got their booths signed up. We have 3 booths for the city in cooperation with OTO as well. So there'll be a 4-pack there that'll be part of your opportunity to be there at that event. Plus the Master Gardeners will be back again with the plant sale, and we're going to have the career centers going to be there doing job career fairs. So should be a good day, April the 25th from 9 to 3. So recently we found out that there was a possibility that the National Day of Prayer wasn't going to happen in our community. And well, we took it, I don't know how to say this. I thought this has got to continue in our community. It's very, very important. And so we came up with a plan and we presented it to the original committee, the Ozark National Day of Prayer Committee, about us helping step in. We have the logistical ways of marketing it, the database programs, social media platforms, everything that we need to communicate this event. Plus we have the insurance, and we had a good idea about to save some money, we can move it to the Stained Glass Theater. It holds about 260 people. There won't be a formal sit-down breakfast, but we will have a fellowship time before with some breakfast foods and drinks and coffee and those sort of things. And then we'll move into the normal structure of the National Day of Prayer as we move into the theater, probably around 7-ish a.m., that somewhere right around that time slot. And the original committee is still very much involved with planning this. Mayor Kearns is obviously a part of that, and so many others. So we're excited that on May the 7th from 6:30 to 8, the National Day of Prayer will continue. We are offering, you'll see there are some sponsorship opportunities for businesses who want to support it. We have like 12 or 13 that did last year, so we're continuing that, because there are a lot of businesses that want to see something like this happen in Ozark. And so we want to make sure that we are still offering that, and we'll be soliciting some of the local businesses for that. It does cost a little bit of money to put this event on. There are some food costs, marketing costs, things like that. So, but we're excited. National Day of Prayer will continue. It'll be a partnership between the original committee and the Ozark Chamber of Commerce. Now the big news. I've kind of hinted around about this, and we finally have come to the point where we have opened up applications as of today. This is a leadership program that the Ozark Chamber of Commerce did several years ago, and I have worked with several past people who have attended this, who have been a part of it, and we brainstormed some ideas to really make this a solid program. And so starting in September of this year, it'll run in the academic year. We'll bring back this leadership program, which is a 9-month leadership development program designed to grow and connect the next generation of community leaders in Ozark. It'll feature 9 sessions, and to save time, because I know you have a busy agenda, and I won't read them all off, but you can see them there in your packet. We are going to be charging, it costs a lot. We're going to be using the Ozark Parks Department school buses, and that's about $60 an hour. So we have some costs there, food cost and some other materialistic costs. So there will be a tuition to this, and we'll have some sponsorships available. But guys, this is something everybody's kept saying to me when I started with the Ozark Chamber. Hey, we got to get this program back. Well, I had to do some foundational fixing first and get some things moving in the right direction. And I went to the board this last meeting, asked for a budget amendment so that we could add this into our program for 2026 and 27. And they obviously unanimously agreed, and we're moving forward with Ozark Leads. So it'll be another cool program coming up later this year that we're implementing. Okay. And then just a couple of quick announcements. Again, we will have a April 7th election update. We'll meet the school board candidates. We'll get 60 seconds to kind of tell them why they want to be on the school board. I believe that, Mayor, you're going to be speaking on the home rule charter and other, maybe some city stuff. And then we'll also hear a panel with the schools, the fire district, and our senior service funds, and how the Senate Bill 3 could possibly impact on the April 7th, 11th election. Plus, we'll have all of our other fun stuff and community announcements and what for. So that's coming up on the March 26th. So we'd love to have you there. And then, of course, First Friday Coffee is going strong. This month, we'll be at the Ozark Fire Protection District Station 1. That'll be on April the 3rd. 6 or 7:30 to 8:30. That's been averaging between 40 to 50 people in attendance. It's a great way to network. It's free to attend. You don't need to register. So we encourage people to come out. And the firefighters are going to be cooking us breakfast. So I don't know what they're going to cook, but we're going to eat it. So it'll be fun. And then just a couple of other quick things down the road. The Welcome Home New Teacher Luncheon, which is a great way to welcome all the new teachers in the Ozark School District, is August the 10th. So I just want to put that on your radar. And then one final thought is that you'll see in your packet, we are continuing to always promote Shop Ozark. That's probably one of the biggest, initiatives that we are out there doing. It's why we do Showcase Ozark. It's why we do little seminars at the schools, telling the kids to tell their parents to shop at Ozark. And so that's still a very, very big part of what we're doing in our community to help support economic development. So just a quick update, because I know you guys got a full meeting. Any questions? All right. See, fun stuff happening at the Ozark Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you very
guys.
much. Okay, our third guest tonight is the Ozark Historic River District, and Suzanne Collins is going to introduce our speaker.
I'm not actually speaking, but I am going to introduce. I'm Susan Collins. I am on the board of the Historic River District, and I want to introduce our new executive director, who will be giving you a first quarter update for this year. His name is
Yes.
Josh Klein. There you go.
Hi there. Thank you all. It's good to be with you this evening. My name is Josh Klein. As Susan said, I'm the new part-time executive director with the Ozark Historic River District. Really excited to jump into this role. Looking forward to it. My background is in workforce and economic development, talent strategy, organizational effectiveness. Spent some time working for the city of Springfield. Went on and did some consulting nationally on workforce and economic development issues. The past 5 years of my career, I've been in the corporate space, but recently transitioned back to the Ozarks. My wife and family and I were in Colorado for the past 3 years. So just moved back, glad to be back, and wanted to get involved in the community, and saw this opportunity and jumped on it. I was really blown away immediately by the passion that the board members have. These are individuals, dedicating hours and hours a week, unpaid time, volunteerism, because they have so much passion about the district and what it has to offer this community. So that drew me in right away. Also, I was drawn to the role. I've always appreciated historic districts, town squares. I grew up in a small town called Versailles, Missouri, in mid-Missouri. I know Don knows where that is. But yeah, my grandpa actually had a business on the square for over 30 years. So just seemed like a good fit. Just in the near term, kind of what we're doing, developing an initial strategy to streamline and automate quarterly reporting. It's a major priority in terms of keeping us in good standing with Missouri Main Street. So figuring out ways to make that a little bit more efficient. Continuing to grow membership, build volunteerism, develop some new sponsorship structures. These are all things I'm thinking through right now with the board on what that could potentially look like. figuring out new and more consistent reasons for people to visit the square outside of, big events that we're having. How do we increase foot traffic? A lot of the research shows that as foot traffic increases, business activity also typically follows, not vice versa. So how do we first get people down there? How do we tell our story? All of this plays a role in getting us closer to that Missouri Main Street accreditation, which is kind of the ultimate goal that we're going for, that unlocks a lot of potential grant funds that we can tap into. So definitely looking into that. What I'd ask of you all moving forward, obviously just keeping the lines of communication open. If there's any way that I can be plugged into conversations that you all are having, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'd be glad to offer my my thoughts, expertise where it's needed if it's additive. As we build out membership and sponsorship, obviously your all's endorsement, visibility, that all matters. I know the mayor comes and is at our meetings frequently, and that makes a big difference when people see you all active in the events. I'll continue to keep you all updated on our progress. I understand that the city of Ozark is fronting the funding for both my role and the marketing role. So we want to make sure that you're understanding what you're getting from that investment, making sure we're quantifying the work that we're doing as much as we possibly can. I wanted to mention too, we did start a marketing manager as well. Around the same time I started, his name's Andrew. He's a local business owner and he's doing some really great work already. Hope to showcase some of that for you all in the next couple months. But I'm going to continue to keep you all updated. Appreciate your support. Look forward to the continued partnership. In terms of events, just a few things on the radar. We're doing the business mixer on May 7th. Cruising on the Square is going to be on June 13th. The gala is going to be September 20th. Then we have the historic walking tour in October and Friday Night Lights in mid-December, like it usually is. So looking forward to all those, and I'll open it up for any questions. I appreciate your time.
Okay. Any questions from the board or from the ones on Zoom? Okay. I am not seeing any. Thank you.
Thank
Josh,
you.
good?
Appreciate it.
Okay. Okay, now we'll move on to our consent agenda, and we have one item on that. At this time, City Clerk, has anyone signed up to speak on the bill number 3742 on the consent agenda tonight?
No one has signed up.
Okay. Are there any two aldermen who wish for Bill 3742 to be removed from the consent agenda and to be moved to first reading? Okay, I'm not seeing any. Okay. Our next item on the agenda then is is a consent agenda. I need a motion and a second to set the consent agenda.
So moved, Your Honor.
Okay. Is there a second? Okay, got it. Okay, all in favor? The motion was made by Alderman Galloway, second by Alderman Snyder. All in favor to set the consent agenda, do so with a raised hand or say yay. Okay. It carries. Motion passes. Okay. Now we need a motion and a second to read the consent agenda which is bill number 3742 by title twice.
So moved, Your Honor.
Second. Okay. So therefore, motion was made by Alderman Galloway, second by Alderman Snyder. All in favor to read bill number 3742 on the consent agenda by title twice, do so with a raised hand. And it carries. No one was opposed. The motion carries.
An ordinance of the City of Ozark, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract change order with Darrell Mortec Construction Incorporated for an amendment to the 2025 Biagio Street Stormwater Improvement Contract. I'll read the title a second time. An ordinance of the City of Ozark, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract change order with Darrell Mortec Construction Incorporated for an amendment to the 2025 Biagio Street Stormwater Improvement Contract.
Okay, I now need a motion and second to approve that bill number 3742 on the consent agenda will become ordinance 26-022.
I want to make a motion to adopt Bill 3742 as ordinance number 26-022.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, the motion is to approve Bill 3742 on the consent agenda become ordinance 26-022. That motion was made by Alderman Snyder, second by Alderman Aiken. Roll call, please.
Alderman Aiken,
Aye.
Alderman Snyder,
Aye.
Alderman Metcalf,
Aye.
Alderman Galloway,
Aye.
Alderman Hutchinson.
Aye.
We have 5 aye votes. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we're going to go to second readings and final passage of bills. We have right now, first bill we have is bill number 3739.
Yes, Your Honor, make a motion that we place Bill 3739 on second reading by title only.
Do we-
Second.
Okay. Okay. The motion is that we place bill number 3739 on the second reading by title only. That motion was made by Alderman Aiken. It was seconded by Alderman Metcalf. All in favor of voting on the motion to discuss bill 3739, do so by show of hands. Anyone opposed? No, it carries. Okay.
An ordinance of the City of Ozark, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to accept and enter into a program agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the Finley River Trail Expansion Project.
Okay. And I understand that the city administrator will be speaking to us tonight.
Yes, sir. I will do my best to do my Jeremy Parsons impersonation for you tonight, but you will have me speaking on the next 3 items on the agenda. This is a program agreement with the Missouri Highway and Transportation Commission for the Finley River Trail Expansion Project. It is approximately a $1.1 million project, and it is an 80-20 match. So there's 20% local funds that will be going into this project, and that will make the match about $222,000 annually. This is planned for, we hope, construction in October. There's no new information to report, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions from the board for our city administrator? And yes, I'm checking the ones on Zoom, so I'm not seeing any.
Motion to adopt Bill 3739 as ordinance number 26-023.
Second.
Okay, the motion is that we adopt bill number 3739 to become ordinance 26-023. That motion was made by Alderman Aiken, second by Alderman Metcalf. Roll call, please.
Alderman Metcalf,
Aye.
Alderman Galloway,
Aye.
Alderman Aiken,
Aye.
Alderman Hutchinson,
Aye.
Alderman Snyder.
Aye.
We have 5 aye votes. Motion carries.
Thank you. Now we're going to draw attention to bill number 3740.
Motion that we place Bill 3740 on second reading by title only.
Second.
Okay, the motion is to replace bill number 3740 on second reading by title only. That motion was made by Alderman Aiken. It was seconded by Alderman Metcalf. All in favor of voting on the motion to discuss bill 3740, do by show of hands. And that does pass.
An ordinance of the City of Ozark, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to accept and enter into a program agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the Jackson Street Connector Project.
And welcome back, our city administrator.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. This is a program agreement with the Missouri Highway and Transportation Commission for Jackson Street Connector. There's no new information to report. This project is approximately $318,000. It is an 80-20 match grant, and the local match will be approximately $63,000. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay. Any questions for our city administrator? I'm not seeing any. Okay.
Motion to adopt Bill 3740 as ordinance number 26-024. Second.
Okay, the motion is that we adopt bill 3740 to become ordinance 26-024. That motion was made by Alderman Aiken. It was seconded by Alderman Metcalf. Roll call, please.
Alderman Hutchinson,
Aye.
Alderman Galloway,
Aye.
Alderman Snyder,
Aye.
Alderman Aiken,
Aye.
Alderman Metcalf.
Aye.
We have 5 aye votes, motion carries.
Okay, now we draw attention to Bill number 3741.
Motion that we place Bill 3741 on second reading by title only.
Second.
Okay, the motion is we place Bill number 3741 on second reading by title only. That motion was made by Alderman Aiken. It was seconded by Alderman Metcalf. All in favor of voting on the motion to discuss Bill 3741, do so by show of hands. And it does carry.
An ordinance of the City of Ozark, Missouri, authorizing the city to enter into a cost apportionment agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for improvements to Highway 14 between East 6th Avenue and East 14th Avenue.
Okay, and welcome back once again.
Yes, sir, Your Honor, this is a cost share agreement between the city and the Missouri Highway and Transportation Commission for the improvements that are proposed on between East 6th Avenue and 14th Avenue. This is a MoDOT project. It's estimated at $7.4 million, and they're anticipating a construction in spring of 2027. This is a cost share agreement for sidewalks and coating on streetlights. There are multiple sources of funding that are going into this project. The local cost share would be approximately $110,000, and this does put sidewalks on both the north and south sides of the streets. There is no new information to report from what you heard at the last meeting, and Ray Cook with MoDOT was here at the meeting. I'm happy to attempt to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay. Any questions for this? Okay, Alderman Snyder.
Mine's not so much as a question, it's comments. With respect to Mr. Cook and his presentation, I really applaud his efforts on this one. They've done their homework. They've done some modifications to that roadway, or the proposal, I should say. However, I still think there are some concerns that have not been addressed here. Anytime you take that stretch of roadway and you're bottlenecking, literally bottlenecking, 4-lane down to a 2-lane, and that's the way I get it. There are no traffic control devices whatsoever, with the exception of a runner street. There are people that come on and off of 14 through there. I think opening that up and the increase in the speed limit, or should I say the increase in the lane usage, is a huge problem. I think you're going to see more car crashes. I think you're going to see more speeding events. And I think there is the extreme risk for a fatality or a major injury as a result of this project. I do not agree with this whatsoever. And not just because my home borders that roadway. I've spoken with several people in that area right there that, are very disgusted with what they want to do. And that's the term that I got, was disgusted. I do agree that there should be some type of traffic enhancement. And I think a 3-lane version with sidewalks is doable. I just don't believe widening that up and opening that up to traffic, especially in the morning and the afternoon, is a very good thing to do. I think we're asking for problems. I think we're opening up for some potential litigation because of this. And I will be voting no on this.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else from the board? Okay, not seeing any.
Motion to adopt Bill 3741 as ordinance 26-025.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, the motion is that we adopt bill number 3741 to become ordinance 26-025. That motion was made by Alderman Aiken. It was seconded by Alderman Metcalf. Roll call, please.
Alderman Snyder,
Nay.
Alderman Aiken,
Aye.
Alderman Galloway,
Aye.
Alderman Metcalf,
Aye.
Alderman Hutchinson.
Aye.
We have 4 aye votes, 1 nay, motion carries.
Thank you very much. Now we're going to be moving to our first reading of bills and resolutions tonight. And this will be open for public discussion based at the time as I so declared. This first time for a formal public hearing, we got bill number 3743.
Yes, Your Honor, I move that we place bill number 3743 on its first reading by title and brief description only.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. The motion is we place bill number 3743 on its first reading by title only. That motion was made by Alderman Metcalf, seconded by Alderman Snyder. All in favor of voting on the motion to discuss bill 3743, do so by show of hands. And that does carry.
An ordinance amending the corporate boundaries of the city of Ozark, Missouri by annexing an approximately 9.82 acre parcel of real property located at 1699 East Jackson Street.
Okay. The public hearing now for bill number 3743 is now open. We'll have now our Director, Randall Whitman, speak on this.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board. This is a annexation petition to annex, as you said, almost 10 acres on the very east end of Jackson Street. So very simply put, this is city-owned property that is being considered by you all. It was reviewed by staff, by the Planning and Zoning Commission to annex this into the city of Ozark. Give Maria a minute here. Okay.
Let me ask a question. As for our two aldermen, are y'all hearing us okay and seeing everything?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Without pictures, my presentation just doesn't have any zip, so.
Okay.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
She's got me gun shy to push these buttons until it's ready. It's not doing anything, Maria. There we go. Okay, so just as we always do, we looked at this property. The proposal is we would any other private development that's proposed to annex. Again, this is Garrison Springs. It's home to what we call the Garrison Springs Community Forest. The city purchased this property in March of 2021. It was purchased with the aid of some federal or some state funding from the Missouri Department of Conservation and a federal forestry grant. There was a contribution of about $315,750 to help purchase this property. The property is currently not in the city limits. It is compact and contiguous to the city. It's located within Tier 1 of our urban services agreement with Christian County. There are no immediate plans to extend utilities to this property. The existing facilities have a septic tank and a private well. And at this time, that's just where it will lie until there's some proposed improvements. Annexation of this property will allow, clear enforcement and participation or, administration of park rules and city ordinances and enforcement of the same by the Parks Department and the Police Department. So another good reason to annex it. We'll talk about the zoning in a minute, but just at a glance, the property in green is already in the city limits. And that is single family. The areas that aren't shaded are agriculture in the county, unincorporated properties. The city's comprehensive plan does look at this property. The areas in green show that a future land use, and I want to clarify, it's not future zoning, but future land use identifies this property for a parks, recreation, open space use, which a community forest would be a good definition of that or a good explanation of that. The Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this in February. We did have some concerns that we'll talk about a little bit more towards the zoning end of this from some residents. But other than that, staff and the Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval of the annexation. Be glad to answer any questions. I'm sorry.
Any question from the board? And as for our two aldermen, you need to speak up since I don't see you now. I see the screen. Any questions from the board regarding this annexation? Okay, I am not seeing any. Thank you, sir. Okay. At this time, is there anyone here from the public who wishes to speak for bill number 3743? This is your time to come to the mic. Okay, I'm not seeing any. Is there anyone here who would speak against bill 3743? This is your time. Okay, I'm seeing no movement. So therefore, the public hearing for bill 3743 is now closed and will be held over for a future meeting. Now we're going to draw attention to bill number 3744.
Yes, Your Honor, I move that we place bill number 3744 on its first reading by title and brief description only.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. The motion is we place bill number 3744 on its first reading by title only. That motion was made by Alderman Metcalf, second by Alderman Snyder. All in favor of voting on the motion to discuss Bill 3744, do so by show of hands. And I see 4. Okay, it does carry. Okay. I didn't, okay, sorry, Bruce, I didn't see you, sir. Excuse me, Alderman Galloway, I did not see you. Okay. Yes, it does carry.
An ordinance of the City of Ozark, Missouri, amending the zoning code and official map by changing the zoning classification of certain real property located at 1699 East Jackson Street.
Okay, the public hearing now for Bill number 3744 is now open. This time, welcome back our Director, Randall Whitman.
Thank you. So this is agenda item that would rezone or propose to rezone the property that we just had a hearing about, same property on the east end of Jackson Street, 9.82 acres. So the zoning code basically establishes when the city annexes a piece of property, it's at the discretion of the city to assign a zoning district. It doesn't require us to, that's our normal practice to do that. Staff evaluates that based on the same criteria would for any private development. We look at guidance from the comprehensive plan. We look at the surrounding zoning, surrounding uses, trends, what the plans are for the property, that type of thing. So we've done the same thing with this property. In this case, as we know, it is proposed to be and is a community park or a community forest. Again, looking at the surrounding zoning, the property to the west there in green is single-family zoning. The property that's not shaded is an agriculture zoning in the county. So the things we've kind of looked at, I'll point out these 3 maps. The one on the end is the one we just discussed. The map in the middle is a snapshot of our comprehensive plan that again looks at what the future use is. It's not really talking about zoning. Uses occur within a zoning district and we kind of align those. In this case, the dark area is, of course, open space, public space, or park space, and the area in yellow is residential. The map on the end just kind of gives you a glimpse at kind of some of the topography and the geography of the area. The area in blue is a floodplain. It does stop very abruptly at that west property line, so we could assume that it goes on, but it's not actually mapped. But, you know, Garrison Spring, the creek runs through the middle of it, so we know flooding, high water, and water flow doesn't just stop at a property line, it continues on, but just kind of some background there. We did get some feedback from Ms. McFall about concerns about is it appropriate to rezone this property or up City Park to single family. And I have some thoughts about that. I don't really, some of these could be, we could go on to discuss, maybe discuss it all night long, and I don't want to encourage that necessarily, but just some things to think about. Your comprehensive plan talks about land use and it talks about zoning, and they're 2 different things. It also talks about using smart codes, and smart codes really look at creating a place. In this instance, neighborhoods, residential areas have parks, they have churches, and they have other things that support that type of place. And we don't have that type of code. We have a straight zoning code that allows uses within a zoning district. So we are limited to pick a zoning district that allows the use of the property. In this case, parks are allowed. This is a snapshot of our existing zoning code. They're allowed in almost all of our residential districts and our agriculture district. You can see that single-family agriculture uses, parks, and playgrounds are allowed. And they're also allowed in all of our residential districts, from single-family all the way to multifamily. So we have recommended that this property be rezoned to single-family because it's the most restrictive zoning district. It does allow single-family homes, but it doesn't allow any commercial uses. It doesn't allow any agriculture uses. A lot of parks are located in single-family districts. Most cities, that's where it's located. That's where churches are allowed, that type of thing, that are supportive uses. And that gets back to what our smart code or what a smart code would encourage. I talked about the fact that there's a stream and there's some geography that would probably limit any future development. And in doing so, you all, the Planning and Zoning Commission, would have to make a movement to change the zoning, whether it be single family or any other zoning district for that matter. We looked at other communities. We looked at Springfield, Nixa, Republic. None of those communities have a zoning district specific for parks. Springfield does. They have a government and institutional district, but interestingly enough, most of their parks and none of their big parks are actually zoned GI. What they use that district for the most part, are hospitals, the colleges, university, OTC, Drury, and things like that. Most of their parks are zoned either multifamily, single family, or in some cases commercial. But by and large, parks are allowed in most all residential districts. So with that, there are no deed restrictions per se, but there are some restrictions that come with the grant that the city received, that $315,000. And it basically says if we use it for anything other than a park or a community benefit, or we try to sell it or dispose of it for a commercial or residential development of any kind, we have to pay that money back. So that is a restriction that we would have to contemplate. A future board, the city would have to consider. I'm going to kind of leave it at that. Again, Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this in February. They recommended approval of the zoning change to single family, and staff supports that. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board? Or from Alderman Galloway or Alderman Hutchinson?
Your Honor.
Yes, Bacon.
Director Whitman, thank you. What would be the disadvantage of just not zoning this anything? Is that an option?
What would be the disadvantage? Well, there would be a county district, so you really couldn't, I mean, I would say we probably have some jurisdictional authority to do what we want. It's our zoning code. But I think the appropriate thing to say is that it's not zoned for a park. Single family zoning allows parks. If it's zoned agriculture, it's not our zoning, it's the county zoning. So
Okay, so technically, even if you
if we don't
annex
make an
it
action,
for
yeah.
zoning purposes, it would just kind of remain in the county zoning classification
Yeah, so
potentially.
I think one could say it's really not zoned.
Or it would be
Their
in
zoning
some
doesn't
kind of-
apply to our city limits. So.
Okay. City Attorney wants to speak.
Just to add to that, any sort of permit or that would typically trigger a rezoning would be triggered if the city wanted to make any sort of, modification or adaptation of that property. So we typically require properties that are annexed but not zoned at that time to zone when they want to make changes. We would likely follow the same requirement.
Okay, I was just curious. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else from the board? Okay, I'm not seeing any. Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay. At this time, is anyone here from the public who wishes to speak for Bill number 3744? This is your time to come to the mic. If you wish to speak for. Okay. I'm not seeing movement. Is anyone here who wishes to speak against Bill 3744? This is your time to come to the mic.
Jeannie McFall, 1324 East Warren Avenue. I feel like the ag zoning is more like what this property is being used for. And with the deed restrictions that the community forest has placed on it, I think you're going against that by making it single family as a zoning, in my opinion. And it will be on a map for the public to see in case they wanted to approach the city in the future to try to purchase this. Then it wouldn't have to be rezoned and it wouldn't have to stay a park if they were willing to pay the money to release it, so.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I guess just a question. I assume that issue has been thoroughly vetted and we're not running afoul of the restrictions placed on us by state or the federal grants by rezoning it for residential. Because that's kind of what Ms. McFall, I think, was insinuating at least.
I don't think there are, what little bit, Hayden wasn't able to be here, but I wasn't here when the city acquired the property or applied for the grant. What little bit I did read about the stipulations in the grant and the funding, it basically just said the city has to pay the money back if we sell it, dispose of the property, or it's developed for residential or any other commercial development. It didn't really talk about zoning. It didn't talk about our jurisdictional, how we manage the property beyond that. So that would be, I think to your point, that would be a decision down the road that a future board would make. Zoning it to single family today, if that's 10, 20 years down the road, they would have the option to rezone it to whatever districts are allowed at that time. So And I might add, with respect to the agriculture district, the big difference there between an agricultural district and a single-family district is, in a single-family district, you cannot have those agriculture uses. So it is more restrictive than an agriculture district. In an agriculture district, you can have livestock, multiple chickens, you can have a variety of animals, and single-family you cannot. So it is the most restrictive zoning district.
So we're not planning on putting a petting zoo down there.
No, not I'm aware of. We'll have to revisit that if that's what we want to do, so.
Anything else, sir?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think I'm comfortable with it as long as we're not, running afoul of any stipulations in our, in our state, federal grant and all that. Because it does seem like it's the least restrictive or most restrictive option we really have among our existing zoning classifications. Anyway, thank you.
Okay. Yes, Galloway wish to speak?
Thank you. Randall, a park is a permissible use in a single-family zoning area district?
Yes, sir.
That's the only thing that we need to know. That doesn't confuse anybody. Thank you.
Anyone else from the board with any questions? Okay, thank you, sir. Now, we were at that point about if anyone else was against Bill number 3744. Is there anyone else who want to speak against Bill 3744? Okay, I'm not seeing any movement. Therefore, the public hearing for Bill number 3744 is now closed and will be held over to a future meeting. Now we're going to draw attention to Bill number 3745.
Yes, Your Honor, I move that we place Bill number 3745 on its first reading by title and brief description only.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. The motion is we place Bill number 3745 on its first reading by title only. That motion was made by Alderman Metcalf. It was seconded by Alderman Aiken. All in favor of voting of the motion to discuss Bill 3745, do so by show of hands. And it does carry.
An ordinance amending the municipal code of the city of Ozark, Missouri, chapter 405 zoning regulations by repealing and replacing section 405-410 regarding planned development regulations.
Okay. The public hearing now for Bill number 3745 is now open, and we'll welcome back again our Director, Randall Whitman.
Thank you. We gave a presentation to the board at the February non-legislative meeting. We presented this to the Planning and Zoning Commission last month. And this legislation really does just represent a update of an existing ordinance. The city currently has a planned unit development ordinance, and that's a zoning district within our zoning code. We're proposing a wholesale replacement. We remove the existing language and replace it with the revised language. And that would basically seek to accomplish and fix some things, provide clarity, make it easier for staff to administer it and interpret the ordinance, as well as you all in the Planning and Zoning Commission. So I'll attempt. I did pare this down a little bit. I promised to do that. It still feels a little bit heavy, but I just can't help myself. So one of the big things is we propose to change the name of this from planned unit development to a planned development. We're adding a definition to the zoning code that actually defines that as one of the zoning districts in the code. And it delineates the process, more importantly, for the role that staff has, the role that the Planning and Zoning Commission and the Board of Aldermen have. And it provides real clarity and qualifications for a final development plan, which is a piece that we really struggled with in the existing ordinance. Lastly, the PD ordinance or the plan development ordinance will put a shelf life on any plan development that's approved for 5 years. And that's, again, something that was lacking in our current ordinance. So some fundamentals. This zoning is just like any other zoning district. It's applied or it's zoned to a particular piece of property. It could be a subdivision. It could be a large tract of land. And it really doesn't matter the size, but preferably these are target large developments where we're trying to establish a master plan where it provides some guidance for multiple phases a long-term project and things like that. So that's why we've put a 5-year limitation on the zoning. So if nothing gets started or they don't implement any of it within 5 years, it basically has to come back to the board for renewal. These districts establish setbacks. They establish specific zone density, design criteria, things like that specific to the property. They don't follow any other zoning district per se. They do allow the traditional uses and the districts that occur at residential, commercial, and things like that. They give us the opportunity to look at traffic, stormwater at a zoning level, which is a little bit different than any other zoning classification. And that's a little bit of the contrary to what I'm going to tell you, that this is a zoning movement. It's not a platting movement, but that's the one piece where there is a little bit of gray area, and that we do get the opportunity to review traffic and stormwater at the same time we're looking at zoning. But it's not a platting mechanism, so I'll probably say that 5 times. I apologize. So again, this is a master plan for a large piece of property. It looks at the entire depth or a menu of uses that can be allowed. It looks at how the streets interact with those zoning districts. It helps us to avoid piecemeal development where we look at one piece and then oh no, we didn't think about that after the second, third, and fourth phases. We have the opportunity, the lens, to look at the development from a phase 1 all the way through. They have to provide us guidance on what each phase looks like. They provide us information about the streets, all of those things at one time. We look at the housing types, we look at design, all of those things. And those are things that we typically can't look at and we have no discretion over when we're using straight zoning. So one of the big things that plan developments do, it allows the city to leverage some of those amenities and improvements for a developer wanting to increase their development density, setbacks, and things like that. The ordinance we propose does have a menu of proposed or approximate density increases in exchange for those types of them, whether it's amenities, park improvements, trails. It could be off-site stormwater improvements, off-site water sewer improvements, and things like that. It could be things that preserve the character of the existing real estate. So if there's a flood-prone area or an area where there's a lot of trees, historic areas, things like that, it gives us an ability within the ordinance to give them some grace where they preserve that area, but they get to account for that density elsewhere. And these are things that, again, you all have the opportunity to weigh in through the process, and that's been codified within the proposed ordinance. So there's 3 steps to the plan development ordinance, and this exists within our existing ordinance, but it's very hard to understand that. It's hard, again, for staff to kind of walk somebody through that. So it's really 3 steps. There's a pre-application, a concept phase, or a sketch plan phase. There's a preliminary development plan, which is the step of the process that actually rezones property to a plan development. And then the 3rd phase is a final development plan. And that's an administrative phase where staff looks at it to make sure any proposal, whether it's a subdivision or it's an individual lot within that development, adheres to the zoning, just the way anything happens right now. So during that 2nd phase of the process, what we call the preliminary development plan, that's when it comes to, there's a neighborhood meeting just the way there is now. There's a hearing in front of the Planning and Zoning Commission, a hearing in front of you all, and you will weigh and you will consider all those things you did. For example, with Marabella, we'll look at the list of menu of uses, the density increases, what they're proposing to do in exchange for getting an increase in density, if there's any setbacks, if there's any trails, any phasing concerns, any impacts to existing roadways, sewer lines, stormwater, any of that stuff. And if they're proposing something different than our typical zoning requirements allow, it's outlined in that plan. It also gives us an opportunity to, how do I want to say this, to push some better design requirements into the plan development that our normal zoning doesn't allow. And those are things that our comprehensive plan supports, but we don't have the mechanism to do it. So this is a good example. This was Marabella's preliminary development plan, and it goes into great detail with respect to the lots and things like that. It looks at the buildings, what relationship they have to stormwater, to existing streets, to amenities and things like that. We wouldn't typically get this with a preliminary plat in a normal subdivision. This is an example of what it could look like. I don't want to paint a picture that they're always going to look like that very detailed project. We could have a very simple plan where they show us this is going to be multifamily, but at any rate, we're always going to have that long narrative that explains the details about the lot sizes, the dimensions and things like that, and any expectations and components of the zoning that you all tie to the approval. This is a good example, again, of what you might look at phase by phase. This is just a shot we took off the internet. You could have one phase that could have 113 lots in it, and we really don't know the detail about that particular phase until they submit that final step in the process, and that could come in concert with a preliminary plat. So as you know, you look at preliminary plats, the Planning and Zoning Commission does. We would look at that final development plan that says their plat complies with the zoning, which is the plan development, and we recommend approval of the preliminary plat based on that. So again, the final development plan is not a piece of the process that comes before you, only the preliminary plat, and that is a platting component, not a zoning component. This is kind of what you would look at when Marabella came forward. It was very unusual because they brought their preliminary plat in along with their zoning. I don't think that's typically how it's done. We'll see if that works out in the long run, but this is what you would see during the final development plan in terms of what comes before the board. I did that in 5 minutes, so I'll be glad to answer any questions. Certainly I glossed over something that was unclear, and I'll be.
Okay. Any questions for our director? From other aldermen? I'm just making sure I don't miss anyone. Okay, I am not seeing any, so thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay. Now, is anyone here from the public who wishes to speak for bill number 3745? This is your time to come to the mic. If you would speak for bill 3745. Okay, I'm seeing no movement. Anyone here which speak against bill 3745? This is your time. Okay, I see no movement. Therefore, the public hearing for bill 3745 is now closed and will be held at a future meeting. We're now going to draw attention to our new bills. We're going to look at bill number 3746.
Your Honor, I make a motion to place bill number 3746 on its first reading by title only, please.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. The motion is we place bill number 3746 on its first reading by title only. That motion was made by Alderman Snyder, second by Alderman Metcalf. All in favor of voting on the motion to discuss bill 3746, do so by show of hands. Okay. And that does carry.
An ordinance of the City of Ozark, Missouri, authorizing the city to enter into a contract with Navigate Building Solutions, LLC for professional services.
Okay. This time, our Assistant City Administrator is going to be speaking regarding this.
Yes, this is an ordinance to enter into contract with Navigate Building Solutions, LLC, to provide professional services acting on the city's behalf as an owner's representative in coordinating and managing the design and construction of the new Ozark Police Department facility. To provide some background information, in 2024, the Board of Aldermen adopted a strategic plan that directs staff to develop a plan for providing an adequate police department facility to meet the needs of the community and the staff members. On August 21st, 2025, the board held a non-legislative work session to discuss the proposed facility and budget priorities for 2026 and subsequent years. During the non-legislative meeting, a presentation and recommendations were proposed for allowing the facility to be constructed and the requirement for reallocating annual revenue from the 1993 quarter-cent capital improvement sales tax. Following that non-legislative meeting in October 6 of 2025, the board heard and passed Resolution 2031, directing staff to take the necessary steps to proceed with the design, plan, and construction of the new facility. In the approval of the 2026 annual budget, money was allocated for starting the process, allocating $620,000 to begin the initial phase of the development. The project is anticipated to take an estimated 3 years to complete, along with future budget considerations. Navigate is headquartered in St. Louis metro area, providing building solutions, project management, and construction management to both public and private agencies. Navigate has completed 500 projects throughout the Midwest, including projects for Nixon School District, the new Nixon Police Department, and the City of Branston's Police Department facility. Navigate will advocate on the City of Ozark's interest in quality, timely, and cost-sensitive design and construction while maintaining professional relationships with the contractors. In talking with other local professionals in the area, Navigate becomes highly recommended and staff supports being in addition to our team. Additionally, specific members of Navigate team are very familiar with the current city administration and understand the importance of delivering a high, exceptional quality product that basing on value, product delivery, and meet the local goals and expectations. Navigate is a member of the state of Missouri's interlocal purchasing system, TIPS, purchasing cooperative, of which the City of Ozark is also a member of. The cost of the proposed contract before you is $165,000 for the pre-construction phase and also identifying future allocations of $16,500 per month during the construction phase, which is based upon the estimate of the total project cost. If this bill passes, staff plans to begin immediately with the initial phase of planning, programming, and design for the new facility. We will provide updates and progress to the board and plan to have final design and ready for project bidding within the next 12 to 18 months. I'd also like to note that Shelby Tufel is here with Navigate to also answer any questions. With that, be happy to answer any additional questions.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Okay. I am not seeing any. So at this time, is anyone here tonight who wishes to speak regarding Bill 3746, whether you're for or opposed? Anyone from the floor who wishes to speak? Okay. I am not seeing from there. Therefore, Bill number 3746 will be held over to a future meeting. Well, now we have two resolutions we're going to draw attention to. The first resolution is 2036.
Yes, Your Honor, I move that we read Resolution 2036.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. The motion is that we read Resolution 2036. That motion was made by Alderman Metcalf, second by Alderman Snyder. All in favor of voting on motion to discuss Resolution 2036, do so by show of hands. And that does carry.
A resolution by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Ozark, Missouri, approving one reappointment to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Okay, and we'll welcome back our Director, Randall Whitman. This is one of the commissioners from.
Yeah, I have nothing really to add. Staff supports Hadley's reappointment to the Planning and Zoning Commission. I think this is a reappointment due to some absences, but those were all justified. So answer any questions or any.
Okay. Any questions for our director from the board? I'm not seeing any. Okay. Is there anyone here tonight wish to speak regarding Resolution 2036, whether for or against? This is your time to come to the mic. Okay, I'm not seeing movement, therefore.
Yes, Your Honor, I move that we enact Resolution 2036.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor on the motion that was made by Alderman Metcalf and second by Alderman Snyder to approve Resolution 2036, do so by show of hands. And that does carry. Okay. Our second resolution is Resolution 2037.
Your Honor, I move that we place Resolution 2037, that we read it.
Second.
Okay. 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 The motion is that we read Resolution 2037. That motion was made by Alderman Galloway, second by Alderman Snyder. All in favor of voting on the motion to discuss Resolution 2037, do so by show of hands. And that does carry.
A resolution by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Ozark, Missouri, approving one appointment to the Land Clearance for Redevelopment Authority.
Okay, and I'm going to speak on this. We need a person to serve on this position, and we'll always look for people because it's LCR land, which is west of us. We want people who are invested in the community, who business sense mind and all. Well, Kevin just retired as the pharmacist for History and Drugs. I've known him for 20 years because that's been who I've gone to, my wife and I. And last 3 years, as I became mayor, we've had a lot of discussion about the city, and I could tell his interest in that and all. Well, he told me, one day when I retire, I would like to be more involved in the city. Well, February the 15th, he retired. So I said, Kevin, remember what you said? And so, yes, he would like to be more involved in the community. And like I said, I've known him for 20 years. He's a good thinker. Again, he lives in the city, he knows the city, and he's a businessman. He has that mindset, which for this particular committee, it needs that type of person. And so I highly recommend him. I think he'd be a great addition to this board. So are there any questions regarding my request to appoint Kevin to this board? Okay, I'm not seeing anyone. Is anyone here from the public tonight who wishes to speak for or against Resolution 2037? This is your time. Okay. I'm not seeing movement. Therefore, Alderman Galloway.
Your Honor, I move that we adopt Resolution 2037.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. The motion is that we adopt and approve Resolution 2037. That motion was made by Alderman Galloway, second by Alderman Snyder. All in favor, do so by show of hands. Okay. Anyone opposed? No. It's all in favor. So that motion carries. Okay. Our former meeting is now finished. Now we are going to come to reports from our officers and directors, and we'll first draw attention to our city administrator, Eric Johnson.
Yes, sir, Your Honor, I have one item tonight that I want to just get on your radar, and that is a reminder that this Thursday, we're having a non-legislative work session starting at 11:30. We have 2 items on the agenda, and I do not believe that we will need the entire 2 hours unless you guys are feeling really ambitious. And so just a reminder that we're having that this Thursday, 11:30. And for those of you who may need to be remote, we can work through with Maria, and we'll see what we can manage. Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I have.
Any questions for our city administrator? Okay. Next, we'll draw attention again, once again to Randall Whitman for planning and development.
Yes, sir. I have one addition to my report. We have a Planning and Zoning Commission meeting a week from tonight. We've got 3 items on the agenda, one of which is to present some proposed amendments to the city's dark sky ordinance, which we will be sharing that at the non-legislative meeting on Thursday to seek any initial feedback before bringing that to the public. We also have 2 alternative landscaping plans proposals, and those are basically some minor amendments to 2 buffer yards for projects that staff is the Planning and Zoning Commission is the one who weighs in on those. So I answer any questions if there are any.
Okay. Any questions for any of the aldermen? Okay. No, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I know that Hayden is on vacation, so you do have his report that you can look at. If you have questions later, I know you can reach out to him. So, okay. Any comments from the board at this point? Okay. I am not seeing any. We do have a closed session on legal action. Therefore, we need to go in closed session. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to move to closed session.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, there is a motion that will go in closed session. That motion was made by Alderman Snyder, same with Alderman Aiken. Roll call, please.
Alderman Aiken?
Aye.
Alderman Galloway?
Aye.
Alderman Hutchinson?
Aye.
Alderman Metcalf?
Aye.
Alderman Snyder?
Aye.
We have 5 votes. Motion carries.
Okay, we will now adjourn to the chamber next door. by Zoom, can you hear me? Can you, so Alderman
Yes.
Hutchinson?
Yes.
Okay. So is there a motion that we adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, the motion made by Alderman Snyder, is seconded by Alderman Aiken. All in favor of adjourning, do so by show of hands. And that does carry, and we are adjourned.
Okay.